Thank you. Thank you very much. When I was asked to come and do this talk, I had a little think about what would I want to say to my younger self. So I won't tell you how old I am, but when I was about 21, 22, I graduated. And I wanted to think to myself, what would I say to myself when I was 21, 22? And it's all about this word right here, which is community. Because as I look at all you now, about to graduate, start your lives and your careers, you sit there as a community, your friends, your peers, you've worked together, you've laughed together, you may have even shouted together or got angry with each other. But you're about to move on now, you're about to start a new life. And the key is to find your community. So I didn't want to stand up here and talk about employability skills and careers and jobs. I want to talk about community. So this is a question I'm going to ask you, and it's for everyone in the room actually. What do you fight for? Now, it's a big, audacious question, and I don't need you to answer it now, but I'd like to think about it whilst I'm talking. And it's a really big question. What do you fight for? So, who am I? Well, I'd like to think of myself as a superhero, a little bit like this person. Now, does anyone know who this is? Go on then.
Captain Planet.
It is Captain Planet. And if you've laughed or put your hand up, I know your age. Which means that you were probably brought up in the 80s or 90s. Now, as you'll see through my presentation, I like to cut my face off and put it on people's bodies. I find it really, really funny. So if anyone knows Photoshop, I'm sure you'll do the same. But I don't have blue skin and I don't have tight red pants anymore. I'm actually a bit more like one of these. Does anyone know what one of these are? It's a womble, yes. So I don't live on Wimbledon Common, but I am quite hairy. But the reason why I'm like a womble is because I hate waste and I hate pollution. This is part of my belief system. And everything I talk about and do in my work actually stems back to two of these things. But actually, it's much more than that. What I really, really love is I love creativity and I believe in community. And I think you only need to switch your phones on and look at the BBC News today to realise that community is a big problem. It's a big problem in this country. And we found that community was broken down probably long before the pandemic. But through the pandemic, communities are breaking up. We're working from home now. A lot of people feel isolated. Mental health is on the rise. And we need community more than ever. And we need you to help us build those communities. It's as you're coming into your working world now, you probably think that you need careers, you need industry, you need the jobs. But actually you're wrong. Industry really, really needs you. So your journey starts right now. Right now in this room, your journey starts. So the key with everything that you're about to do is that you need to find flow. Some of you may have found flow, or you may have not. But finding flow is when you can do something and hours will pass. It could be walking the dog, it could be playing computer games, it could be doing sport, it could be out in nature, it could be anything. It's those moments where you lose yourself and your mind just flows and hours will just pass. If you don't find it in work, you may find it in a hobby or a passion. But the key is to try and find it in work. And that's your pursuit right now, it's your quest, is to find flow within work and do something that you really, really love and you're really passionate about. And you can do this by adopting something called Ikigai. Has anyone heard of Ikigai before? It's a Japanese philosophy, and it looks a little bit like this. Now, I'm not expecting the people at the back to see this, but let me explain it. It's like a Venn diagram. Think of 4 circles. And in these 4 circles, you have at the top what you love. So all the things that you love doing. To the left, you have what you're good at. And at the bottom, you have what can I be paid for? And on the right, you have what does the world need? Now, in our life, we're very fortunate and blessed and privileged just to have one of those things, to find something that you love, to find something that you can be paid for, or something that you're good at. But if you can find those three and then combined with what the world needs, then you are truly blessed. And you are in a world and in a career and in a life that not many people have the opportunity to live. If you find those four circles and they come together, you find your flow. And that's your ikigai. And that's what the pursuit now is. And it's something that I'm still trying to find, but I'm quite blessed that I'm moving closer to that. So I'm going to break down those four areas so we understand what they are. So let's start with love. What do you love doing? Now, it could be stuff that you do within your course, your qualifications. It can be things that you do outside of work or your hobbies. It could be your hobbies. It's the things that you really get excited. So it's the things that excite you, and it's the things that will get you up in the morning. This morning it was probably quite difficult because it was horrible weather, but we all want to be in a place or a career or a position where we jump out of bed. In an ideal situation, it doesn't always happen. But if you can find those two things, then you're on the right track. The second thing is, what are you good at? Now, often you have to ask other people to find out what you're good at. You might not know yourself. But ask your inner circle, what do you think I'm good at? It's normally key skills, experience, and attitude. Now, I taught at De Montfort University for 10 years, and I was always asked the question, what are you good at? What are your key skills? And it's very, very common to get through your academic life and still not know those things. I'm still trying to figure it out now. But the key is, if you don't know what your key skills are, or you're still trying to adopt key skills, there's one word that's the most important, and it's experimentation. This is the time in your life where you can still experiment. You can go out into the world and explore, be curious, and just figure out who you are and what you want to be. So there's nothing wrong with not knowing right now who you want to be or what you want to do. But the key is to experiment. And if you've ever seen the film Yes Man with Jim Carey, you know that start saying yes to a lot of things. Do more, see more, read more, just experience more and experiment. And you will find the things that you love doing. And once you start love doing it, you can do it more. Hopefully you become good at it. You can gain experience. And then you start to really then drill down on your skills. The last one there is actually attitude. Now, we employ people at Seed, and actually that is the key skill for me, is attitude. Soft skills like knowledge, data, technology, all those things can be adopted, but attitude just comes with time. And having a good attitude, having that go-getter, want to do, curious, working hard attitude is going to get you places. The third one, what can we be paid for? Now, if you can mix the things that you're good at and the things that you love and be paid for it, then that is an absolutely amazing place to be. So if we can get those three and combine them, we're in a good place. So this is something that's worth exploring and researching now. And this is something I'm going to talk about a little bit more, is what markets are emerging now? You can call them trends, you can call them movements, but what markets are emerging right now within sport, within agriculture, within engineering, or whatever subject field? You need to be on the edge of what you do, right at the edges, not in the middle, and you need to be pushing the envelope and pushing the needle exactly what your industry is all about. And one of those industries that is happening right now, and it's going to get bigger and bigger, is the market around climate and climate change and environment. It's only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And actually all businesses now, if they're not directing or concentrating hard on the green pound, then they're going to get left behind. And then once you know these markets, these emerging markets and where everything's going, is what skill sets are sought after? What does the world need right now? And that's the key question here. What does the world need? We are in a state of influx, and I don't want to bring it too down because it's a happy day, but we need to be thinking about where is the world going and what's needed right now. And the world it's not just about environment, it's about planet, and it's about people. What do people need in terms of well-being and health? These are the markets, and these are the things that we should really, really be thinking about, because we need people in sport, we need engineers, we need the scientists, we need the care workers and the people that look after each other, because it all comes down to people and planet. That's really what it all boils down to. So we need the change makers, and I believe right in this room now are the new change makers. As I said before, the world actually needs you. It needs new ideas. It needs curious thinking. It needs people that haven't been living in the world and kind of been told to live a certain way, to be a certain way. We need those curious minds like you. So one voice is all it takes. Just one voice can change the world. And here are just a selection of people that have gone out there and done things in sport, within politics, with the environment. We've all got the ability to change the way that we behave and change the way the world needs to work. And again, you only need to switch the news on now to realise that the world has to change and we all have to work together. And again, we need community. So we need big hearts and we need big ideas. And I can see there's a lot of big hearts in this room. So a question to you: why is it that young people are leading the way for activism, disruption, and change making? There's a lot of people that have done some incredible things of all ages, but in terms of actually getting out there and voting with their feet and voting and going out there and talking and getting people to start listening, it's mainly younger people. And the reason being is because the world needs you. It needs you right now because you have less to lose. The more you gain, then the less that you're going to go out there and disrupt and change the world. So this is the time. So why is it that most UK climate action is not working? Because it isn't. We need to radically change the way that we live and work right now. Politics can't save us. It can't save us. We're expecting our leaders, whoever that is at the moment, to actually save us, and it won't. They can't really help you at that grand scale. The only way that we can change is with you guys. It's going to need people to go out there and actually start changing. I believe community building can do this. But the key is you've got to find your community. You've got to find the tribe that's going to help you and push you forward. So, what's the solution? It's not all doom and gloom, don't worry. I'm actually going to build it back up again, don't worry. So what's the solution? How do we get more people motivated about climate action? There's a way out of this. Now, we have the science, we know the science, we're working on the technology, but actually where the deep work here is the social sciences. It's behaviour change. It's motivating people to think a little bit differently and to start changing slowly the way that we behave. How do we do this? We need to empower the ideation of possibilities. It's not about demonizing. It's not about frightening people. And that's what we do. That's what the communications about everything that's going on in the world, it's there to frighten you, and it doesn't work because nudge tactics and scare tactics don't work. People want to live their own lives. People want to be the curator of their life. But we need to help give people ideas so that they can curate their own life and show them the possibilities of what life could look like. Because actually, changing the way that we live actually has so many beautiful, positive things that can come off it. So, why don't we ask the question, what if? What if we did this? What if the college did this instead? What if we got people to think about this instead of what they think about? The question, what if, is so powerful. And it's lots and lots of great people like you that can ask that question, what if? We need to help people create a vision of a new future. A new future isn't scary. It doesn't have to be scary. It can be amazing. So what do we need to focus on? There's some really key things here that we can focus on to empower people, to give them the ideation of what their new future could look like. We need new ideas. We know that. We need new ideas to get people to think differently and live their life differently And we need your ideas. We need people like you who can think differently, in a different way, and haven't been tarnished by the outside world too much. A growth mindset. Learning doesn't stop now. Learning begins now. You should be a student of your field, a student of your passion, a student of your energy forever. And you will have a growth mindset. A growth mindset is someone who can look at each day unbiased, with open arms, and be willing to learn and be better, just that little bit better than you were yesterday, and keep learning and keep being better than you were. A healthier lifestyle. Actually focusing on people and planet, you'll have a healthier lifestyle because you'll do less, you'll exercise more, you'll eat better, you'll change the way that you live and that you work. And it's a simpler, less stressful way of life. And the reason why I've highlighted the word less is because we've all been brought up to think we need more. We need more money. We need a bigger house. We need a faster car. We need more holidays. But why don't we just start thinking for 1 second that we actually need less? Now, that's not to say that we shouldn't be ambitious, that we shouldn't be courageous or brave and want more for our lives or our families. It's about being ambitious and doing things that we want to do with less. So why don't we think about traveling less, driving less, using less energy, wasting less? The power of less is the thing that's going to get out of this mess. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't do the things that you love. It just means about doing it in a different way. So, what do I fight for? I fight for this. I fight for a really ambitious, forward-thinking, progressive future. A future with green spaces. A future with community gardens. A future of community people working together for a better life. For cycle paths. For paths that we can walk down, we can run down. For renewable energy. For smart energy systems. For regeneration with nature, regenerative agriculture, farming, eating, living, behaving in a different way. Everything we put in our mouth and everything that we put on our back, and doing it in a new way. Life can be really, really, really good if we start thinking about regenerative, circular, putting things back and being healthy. So the key now is for you to go and find your community. Who are the people that have the same belief systems? Who are the people that care about the same things as you? Who are the people that are going to raise you up? Who are the people that are going to share your ideas and actually give you the most amount of opportunities? Who are the people that you're going to laugh with and make you feel better? That's the key now, is to go and find your community. Remember, don't give up the fight. Thank you.